Chat. We have Jonathan here from SuperSixStudios. Here's the question that I asked you already in private: Is how comes the name that you set it up on Super Six?
Yeah, so Super Six is because I have five brothers and we're all really close. So I just thought it'd be cool to kind of pay an homage to that. So it's myself and my five brothers, six people. So Super Six. That's where that came from.
That's so cute. That's actually a cool way to bring in your family members or people you love or care about into something you're creating and making it great and beautiful.
Yeah, I like doing that kind of stuff. My wife has a character in the game that you meet pretty early on, also, so it's kind of fun.
Is she helping you, or is she like more of the baddie?
She's no, she's a helpful character, and I wouldn't be able to do this without her. She's just so supportive and amazing. So I figured it'd be fun to put her in the game too.
So, John, maybe tell us really briefly about you, what you do, and how do you came up with the idea of HammerHelm? And
Sure.
Liavi said she's the tutorial maiden.
Yep. Yeah, so again, my name's John. I've been in the game industry for a really long time, about 20 years. So I've been around a while. I never really worked on my own game though, and like 7 or 8 years ago, I just started learning how to use Unity and code in C Sharp, and mostly just because I wanted to learn the technology. I wasn't really planning on making a game. But as I kept doing it, I realized like I built a lot of things and I could turn it into a game. And I was playing a game called Banish, which I think probably most of you guys have heard of. Love that game, and it just kind of inspired me to like, let me take this kind of idea of a medieval city builder and put it in third person and let you actually adventure in the building, in the town. So when you place a building, you can just walk right into the building and there it is. And so I thought that would be kind of a unique concept to try out. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We actually
Yeah.
played something similar to Banish today earlier, called Frozenheim. They're trying the
Sure.
whole thing towards an Viking concept. But yeah, I would say we hop right into this beauty.
Sure.
Just
Let's do
give
it.
it quickly. Also, some beautiful music because I heard that has some good soundtrack. Let's hope it's not too loud. Chat will tell us if we're blasting the ears away.
All right.
So, a new character. Oh, that's charming. So, you're playing as female or male.
hmm
How many beards possibilities do we have?
I think there's six or seven, and then there's a bunch of different colors. Um, you can't turn the camera to face your character yet, but the beards are actually animated. So like when you're running around, they're kind of flopping around, and there's physics. Same thing with the female hair also animates, which is kind of cool looking.
That's amazing. So, let's give him a quick.
Yeah, the dwarves were originally designed by an artist named Lane Brown. He's done a bunch of other games as well. And behind me here is actually the first piece of concept art ever made for HammerHelm, the poster here. So Lane drew that, and then we kind of took that concept and turned it into the dwarves.
That's
But yeah, I
charming.
really love that piece of art. Yeah, it's
I
cute.
mean,
He did a
I
great
mean,
job.
having a game about dwarfs, I think having physics on beards and all kinds of beard things is one of the most important parts of it. Um,
Yeah, the beard's got to be alive, right? It's part of the character.
exactly. And what I also found it very interesting is that you went for the version that the female dwarf has no beard,
Yep.
as they're doing it very often
Yeah.
in
The original.
I think only
Well,
Lord
go
of
ahead.
the Rings has it with female dwarfs having beards.
Yeah, I kind of the original concept was that the males would all have like really long beards, and then the women would all have really long hair. It's sort of like a the way they differentiate themselves, I guess. But when I released the game, people wanted more options, so you can actually pick short hair and shorter beards too.
Okay.
So that was one of those things where the design changed after people started playing it and they wanted more options.
Very good. Very good. So do you want to introduce us into the prologue? What's happening here?
Sure. Yeah.
And
So what's basically happening is the stronghold, the dwarves' stronghold, where you currently live, like in a mountain, is in sort of a little bit of disarray. The king's been missing for a long time, and so the council's been set up, and basically they're running out of resources. And so you come up with the idea of like, hey, why don't we get out of here and go live somewhere else and live above ground because this underground living isn't really for me anymore. And you can imagine that a lot of dwarves don't like that idea at all. And so what happens in the story here is that this prologue is basically you leaving the stronghold. You're sort of being kicked out, and letting you know that others want to come with you. And so that's where the game kind of starts once you get that information.
That's amazing. So here we have the beard wiggling.
Yeah, there you go. You can see it.
Is there a chance to like view around your character? Like hold the
Not
button
yet.
and
It's
then-
something I'm definitely going to add. A lot of people have asked me for that, so I'm going to add it at some point, for sure.
Okay. Also, that I noticed, is there a way to toggle off the double tab, disable double tab roll? There
Yeah,
we
you
go.
can do that there. Yep. And then you shouldn't do that anymore.
And then it should be what button to roll?
It's Q and E to roll.
Q and E. Perfect.
Yep.
Save and keep playing. There we go. Drakes. So what is Drakes telling us about? Probably exactly that
Yep.
a story what you were
So
telling
Drix
us.
is basically telling you that the council has rejected your idea. They're not like super angry at you, but they kind of want you to leave because you're sort of a bad influence on the rest of the stronghold. And so Drix is one of your friends, and he's on your side, and he's going to try and help you get out of here with just by giving you some equipment to get you started.
Oh, okay. Iliamiask
So he
is,
tells you
can
go ahead.
you build a golden statue of yourself?
you cannot build a golden statue of yourself. There is actually a statue of another character in the game, and I don't want to say too much about it because it's kind of a spoiler. I'm working on that, and so you'll be able to build that statue in your town of a different character. And there's a whole reason why you would do that, but again, I don't want to spoil it too much.
Gotcha, dining room. Guessing there's food? No, that's Ors. Hello there, Kelly.
So Callie, that's the character that's sort of based on my wife. So she's another helper.
Does she have the same hairstyle?
Not quite the same
Awesome.
style, but she does have short hair, so we went with that. There's like 2 other choices, so we picked that one because it's kind of cool looking.
That's cool. Ooh. Oh, meat barrels.
Yeah, you gotta have those, right?
Of course. Dwarfs without meat. And proper drinks. Oh, this makes me thirsty actually, watching here.
Yeah. So in the story right now, the rest of the dwarves are all in the council chambers, sort of hearing the council give their decision. So this part of the stronghold's deserted, and that's why they're sort of using it to help you escape.
Oh, okay. So before they're like punishing me for not wanting to be here anymore, and
Yeah, you're
saying,
a
"Let's go to the
rabble rouser.
forces."
You're causing trouble, so they want you out.
looking at our Jonathan Dwarf over here, actually looks like a little bit of a rebel with his mohawk and.
Perfect.
So is she like saying goodbye to us? She is.
Yeah, she's saying goodbye. She's letting you know that behind those doors you can escape, and she's also gives you a pickaxe and a hatchet in your inventory automatically, so that you can chop down trees and mine stone.
Mm. And what we talked about off stream is what I really like the idea about. What you recently implemented is when you go out for resource hunting and you like chop it down a tree or mine something, you automatically switch to your tool, and when you turn around and attack a target, you automatically switch back to your weapon. You don't have to
So
like.
if you open your inventory right now, you can equip that hatchet and that pickaxe in the bottom right. Yep.
There we go.
And so right now you're going to be holding your hatchet because that's the last thing you equipped. But if you just click to attack, it's going to switch back to your weapon automatically.
Oh, that's
And
great.
so now if you go to a tree or a rock, it'll automatically switch to the hatchet or the pickaxe or whatever you need. You don't have to manually press keys or open your inventory or anything like that. It just happens automatically.
And how comes we went for a 3D, like third-person view and not like top-down or make it more strategical?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted it to feel like you're living in the town, and I think the best way to do that is either first person or third person. I'm personally a fan of third person. I like seeing my character. I've worked on a lot of MMOs where obviously that's mostly the viewpoint of those. So yeah, third person's always sort of been my favorite view for games. But yeah, someone in the chat's asking if I've played other games. This is my first game for myself that I've worked on. But I've worked on a lot of other games as part of studios. I worked on Ultima Online way back in the day. I've worked on a bunch of MMOs and a bunch of games for mobile games for Disney. I've worked for Activision for a short period of time, and I'm currently working for a startup company called Mutant Arm, and we haven't announced what we're working on yet. But that's what I do in my day job.
We came to the part where we placed the storage house. We placed a wooden house. We now have to decide for a city name. Would you give us the honor to give the city a name?
I always use Helmsburg. It's my dad's from the city of Pittsburgh, and so I just put the helm in front of it, and it's kind of fun.
Helmsburg. There we go.
Yeah.
Then I also give you the choice here. Whom we gonna pick?
Yeah. So I would say from these guys, the best one you've got is the guy on the right. He's got mole, which is really good for mining.
Okay.
The other two are fine. Like they don't really have anything super negative. Probably Oaf is pretty good because they're better at like carrying stuff, and they get a mood buff if they're like just a general worker. So
Does the trait visual
with,
mean that she's visually appealing?
No, it's she's happier when the town is pretty. So you can place things in the town like trees and statues and fountains, and everyone gets a mood buff from those. But she actually gets a bigger mood buff from that because she really likes that.
Oh.
So it's basically that character will increase the overall mood of your town a little higher than a regular dwarf would if you make it beautiful.
And the drunkard trade? I have to ask that.
Yeah, so she'll drink more. So when you start making beer, so yeah, the dwarves, they want food, water, and beer, right? Those are the three things that they want as far as meals go. And the drunkards will actually drink more, and sometimes they'll have a bad day because of that. But in the game, you can actually go find them and cheer them up. And if you do that, it turns it from a negative to a positive because you actually took some time out to cheer them up a little bit.
Okay.
So.
That's funny. So you say we should pick Dragon's Bane, Toshba.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. Look at how happy he is. Oh, I can pick more?
And you can pick two. You got to pick two. Yep.
Okay. Chad said Benny would totally be my choice.
Yeah, Benny's pretty good too.
So let's take her and be accepted. Also, besides your managing and planning your city, you actually have living and walking around NPCs that doing their...
Oh, yeah.
Do they have their daily business or something like that? Oh my
yeah,
God,
so the workers will go chop down trees and mine stone on their own, and once you get a mine set up, they'll mine some ore for you, and then the shopkeepers, you can craft things at the shopkeeps. But once that storehouse is done, which it looks like it is, you can go around the other side there and actually walk inside. So every building that you can place has an interior that you can go inside and explore.
And can you decorate it interior then as well?
Not this building, but you can place your own house, and then you can decorate the interior of your house with all kinds of stuff.
Okay, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
So let's
you can craft like normal stuff like beds and tables and stuff, but then you also get like monster head trophies and all kinds of other like unique things that you can put in your house as you go on adventures.
Okay. Oh, my bad. Oh, it did save. Good.
So there's no different difficulties in the game. The game's sort of, I don't want to use the word casual because that's got like a whole bunch of weird connections to it, unfortunately, but it's meant to be sort of a relaxing kind of chill game as opposed to like a hardcore survival game. So like if you run out of food, your people don't die off. They do get really mad and they become super like inefficient at doing work.
Okay.
But there's no way like your town's not going to burn down. People aren't going to die out. Like the goal was to make something that was just sort of more fun. And just kind of focused on progression and building a town and just enjoying that. So in that regard, it actually deviates a little bit from Banish, where Banish is more of a game that you can like, everyone can starve to death. I wanted to make something that was a little more relaxed in that regard. There aren't any like sort of typical fantasy races like elves or humans, but there are some characters in the game that are not dwarves. And again, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil too much, but you meet them pretty early on. So after the tutorial, you'll meet some of those guys.
Somebody in chat asked if the maps are randomly generated, or is there like one map and you?
There's one map. Yeah, there's one hand-built map. I just decided to go with that because I wanted to have more control over where things spawn and where things look. So it's the same map, but different things will appear in random locations. So you might get a quest to clear out a dungeon, and that dungeon could theoretically be in different parts of the map.
So right now we have to find 3 monster camps near town and destroy them.
Yep. So what the story tells you is once you placed your town, the island itself is uninhabited, but the other monsters who sort of were enemies of the stronghold followed you here. So there's some monsters nearby and some other things that happen later in the game related to that. So you can hold the button down to continue attacking. There you go. And you sort of do combos when you do that.
That's amazing. Now actually the sound is a little bit too low. Mute up a little bit. Beautiful.
There's no town invasions yet. It's probably the #1 by far most requested feature. Years ago, I did actually build a couple of different versions of town invasions. I just didn't like the way they played, so I cut them. So once I figure out a way that I like, something I'll add to the game. I'm also going to make it optional, because some people said they didn't want the town to be attacked. They didn't want to worry about that. But the big thing is you spend a lot of time outside of your town. And so if you're far away on the island and the town gets attacked, you suddenly have to stop what you're doing and run all the way back. So the idea is that the town will be sort of more like a town invasion, like a quest, and there'll be like a start to the quest, and then when you're ready, the attack will essentially start, and so you don't have to like worry about that as much as you would in like a normal game like that. So this is the big change to the combat system. The current one that's live right now, you pick a target and you attack that target. In the new system, there's no target. Whatever you swing at, you hit. So you can hit multiple targets at the same time, and your character doesn't change facing automatically. So it's a little more fluid. And again, that was all just based on player feedback after the game launched. So I'm really happy with that change, which is why I'm glad you're playing the test build.
That's actually really fun, because as you said, if you like focusing on one target and you like, even though you're swinging at that target and hit the other and standing next to him and doing no damage, you kind of might be a little bit. Can you pick up the shrooms and make berserker soup?
It felt weird. It felt weird to swing your axe or your hammer and not hit everything. Yeah, you have a quest to pick a skill. You need to buy the one in the upper left there, kick, first, and that unlocks the other ones.
This is now mind-blowing me as well. So depending on how many houses you have, or what does that mean with requirement on the left side?
So when you get 4 houses, you'll unlock the second tier, and 6 houses unlock the third. I wanted to tie it to the town. So everything that you do affects your town, and everything you do with the town also comes back and affects you. So I think it's the F key. You can use the F key to kick once you're close to the enemies, and that'll knock one of them down.
Monster spellcaster. Okay, so there are different monster types now.
Yeah, so the mage there just put a buff on that guy. That's why he has that symbol next to his health, and later on you'll get a skill that you can use to knock that buff off of him. You haven't learned that skill yet. But he would do more damage if you let him hit you. There you go.
But a kick
so
like
right there,
interruption.
He hit you, and there was a big particle effect on your character because you got hit by a powerful attack, because he has the attack buff.
This is really charming. What shocked me most, or what like mind blew me most, was the effect when you went into that top-down city planner, and we're planning out your city building where you're placing the stuff, and then you're switching back in your first person, and you just actually see the dwarves running then around and bringing up the buildings, and seeing the effects, as you said, like very close into your character, behind his shoulders, what is happening, how the whole town is shaping, and that's a real
like I said, it definitely creates a very different view for a town builder game. It's been challenging to make those two things work together, because most town builders, you're top down, and most RPG, third person especially, is in this view. So getting those two to work together was probably the most difficult part, because you're basically making 2 games at that point at the same time, and so they both have to work, and then they both have to work together too.
Let me ask for a design decision there. Why you picked like these 3D or 3D squares for the life bar to like pop away? Was that like
I saw someone mention that in the chat too. That's my favorite, one of my favorite things in the game, and it's actually been in the game for a really long time. Originally, HammerHelm had more of like I don't want to say voxel, but a cube look to it, and so those bars kind of just represented that view. But I left them in, and I added to them, and now they drop instead of just disappear, and they blink a little bit, just because I thought it looked cool. So one of these days, I actually want to do a little more with the squares and make them a little more interesting. But for now, I'm pretty happy with it.
I also like that this whole life the whole town already, even though it's just a storehouse, feels intuitive. Like right now with this, something is getting stuff out of the storehouse without your permission. Go check it out, and all of a sudden you have like freaking Skaven rats up here eating at your stuff. Will the events like that completely randomly happen?
Right now you're in the tutorial, so it's not random, but there are events that can happen that will affect your town, and this quest is sort of meant to teach you that. So like when those rat men are in the storehouse, the workers won't go in the storehouse, so they're not delivering wood and stone anymore. And so that part of your town essentially shuts down because there's monsters in that storehouse. And once you clear them out, then they go back to work. It also creates a mood debuff if there's monsters in your town, and so you want to clear those out. But again, if you don't clear it out for a while because you're busy doing something else, it's not like the rat men are going to burn down the storehouse and your whole town's going to fall apart. It's just that you're not getting resources until you take care of that quest.
As you said, it should be like more designed to be a chilled, charming experience instead of a stressful. Okay, I'm getting attacked, but that is happening. My town is burning. Let's run there. Let's do that. It's more like an
you spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time outside of the town, and I think if I made it more of a survival type experience, then you'd be stressed out all the time. Try to avoid taking guys that have slow. Slow is my least favorite trait. It's terrible.
What about lazy? It's exactly the same thing.
Lazy's not so bad because if you look at the other trait, he's got meticulous.
Okay.
Meticulous is good for crafters, and lazy doesn't actually affect crafters. It only affects resource gatherers. So that's a pretty good dwarf if you make that dwarf your metal worker. That's a pretty good choice there.
There we go. Let's make it happen. And now with 2 buildings, we upgraded
that's the right way to say
metal worker.
Right. The obstacles in the game slow you down and hinder your progression, but they don't stop you, and they don't. You can't. Like, I don't want to say you can't lose, but you really can't. Like, you just want to be efficient is really more about what the game's about, just finding those efficiencies. And of course, just having fun and exploring the map and doing all the quests. But when your character dies, it doesn't happen for the first couple of days, but after the 3rd or 4th day, when your character dies, it gives the town a huge mood debuff because their champion was defeated. And so it slows down the town, but your character comes back, you're fine, you don't lose any of your permanent hit points, and there's no armor repair or anything like that. It's all just, again, I didn't want you worrying about all that kind of stuff. So once you build like a pickaxe, or once you build a new piece of armor or a weapon, that weapon or armor stays with you. You don't have to worry about repairing it or anything like that.
So now we have the metal worker. Do we have to assign him? It says up to.
Press V on the quest, and then you click the assign button.
And instead, the meticulous worker over here that is lazy would be a good one.
Yep. So you want to click the assign button in the upper left there, next to the metal worker name. There you go. And then you can pick the dwarf that you want to assign. So yeah, to pick the meticulous guy, because he'll create what's called masterwork items, which are just better versions of the items. So he's your metal worker now, and he should either be at his shop or be running to his shop, so you can see him there.
Oh, there he is!
There he is. Yeah.
That's so charming. And what I always love, because as a streamer, what I saw here is that you can rename these people, and so you can actually have them introducing the viewers as well a little bit. Speak with the metalworker about crafting copper items. So he's probably telling us that we should collect now copper stuff, that he will give us better equipment.
Right. So you don't have a mine yet, so he knows where he found some ore out in the wilderness, and so he's going to show you where that is.
Your town. Okay, it does show me on the map.
There's also, if you look on the map, there's 2 little markers on the compass. Sorry, on the compass, not the map.
Oh, on the compass, yeah.
The one is where your town is, and the other one is your active quest. So you only have 1 quest right now, so it's always going to be that. But when you get multiple quests, you can switch between them, and that little gem will tell you where to go for that quest. So you don't have to always look at the overhead map.
That's great. That's great. Ilya asked if there are kind of pets or animals that you can tame that bring you along in battles.
So not in battles. When you place your house, though, you get a dog, and the dog kind of wanders around the town, and anyone that the dog goes near gets a mood buff, because they're just, the dog is cute. And the dog is actually based on my real dog that I had years ago. After she passed away, I added her to the game, and so that's the story behind.
That is so cute.
Yeah, and somebody gave me the idea to add a quest for Nika, so I'm actually working on a quest. Once you get her, she needs a bone, and you're going to go into a dungeon to get her a bone. You can probably figure out why you might do that, depending on what's in the dungeon.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to add that probably the next week.
And of course, the question comes: why do female dwarves have no beards?
That was just a design choice. I wanted them to look different. Is really what it comes down to. People have asked me to make that an option, so I might at some point. I don't know if the beards will fit, the actual 3D models will fit the female dwarves. If not, we can change them to make them fit. But yeah, there was no main reason for it, just sort of a design choice.
So how long would it take for you to run from one end to the other end of the map?
It's not that big, probably a few minutes, maybe 5 tops. And again, that's on purpose because the quests do ask you to leave the town. I don't want you running for 10, 15 minutes at a time just to go do a quest and then come back. So I actually, the island was much bigger when I first launched the game in early access, and within the first year I made it probably about 1/3 this size. Because the rest of that island in the back just wasn't being used for anything because it was too far. There is also some fast travel in the game. Once you get higher levels, you can build like a teleport platform and gems and things like that to teleport.
Here. Do you plan on if the game succeeds and blows up, do you plan to implement later on maybe even the possibility to have this experience in co-op with a buddy, or maybe even go into multiplayer? I think multiplayer might be too much, but like co-op.
I would love to add co-op to the game. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that you really need to do early on and sort of build the game from the ground up to support co-op. Otherwise, you can't do it. It's a ton of work to take a single player game and switch it over to co-op. So for now, I'm going to say probably not. But I don't want to ever say 100% no. But it was designed to be a single player game from the start.
Okay. Totally get that. Can you build a skyship? Asks one. I think that island might be too small for big.
Yeah,
big
you don't really need
like
it, and that's why the island is small. There is a skill you can buy with your skill tree to speed up your run speed, and like I said, there's also teleport gems. But really, you don't even really need those so much, but they're just more of a convenience.
So look at also the horn helmet. And here comes the thing. Will it be visually seen as well?
Not yet, but if you go back to your inventory, there's a little toggle right under the helm. Take that off, and now you'll see the helmet. So you can choose if you want to see your hair or your helmet.
It has even little tiny horns. I feel like one of the Asterix and Obelix people now.
There are other locations that you go to as part of quests. So they're not like permanent places that you go back and forth to often. But there's sort of 3 big main story quests. And those 3 places take place off the island. They're different places that you explore and go. But once you finish the quest, you go back to the island.
I love how convenient everything feels so far. Like, also the town manager, it's like self-explanatory. Is that even an English word? It's like self-explaining. You can very simply tell them to either go for wood, go for stone, assign all these little parts and whatnot. It's charming. In one word, this whole thing feels very heartwarming and charming.
I love hearing that, because that's really what I'm going for, right? I wanted to make something that was fun and charming and just laid back, and that's literally what I was going for. So it makes me really happy to hear you say that.
So is there other islands you can explore, like in mid or late game?
Yeah, I was talking about that. So there's a big story in the game that starts out with the prologue and then continues through. And there's you'll know it when you get to them. There's 3 big parts of the story, and each of those parts takes place in a different place, a different island or a different location. But I didn't want you to have to constantly jump back and forth to have to go back to your town. So you basically do the quest in that place, and then you come back to the main island. And those quests can take between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how you do it. Maybe even a little longer.
Okay. And from start to finish, is there like an end game? Is there like the end?
There's no end game. There is the main story ends probably about around the time you're about 2/3 of the way through building your town, and then you can finish building out the town. So again, it's sort of like Banished in a way where, there's no win. It's more about like when you've decided that you've made the town that you want to make. So the game doesn't end. You can just keep adding to your town until you run out of space.
So they are now asking us to build a mine. Can you then actually go into that mine, or is it like
Sure.
just?
Yep. No, everything you build, you can go inside. And so, yeah, you have to put it up against the cliff face there. Either side.
You get over there.
Okay. And whenever you place a mine, the first thing you have to do is actually go inside and clear it out.
And then clear the mines. Are the ladies getting for that stone?
They are apparently mining invisible stone. I'll have to see why they're doing that.
I think that's the stone that I just mined previously.
Maybe, yeah, that might have confused them. I'll look at that and fix it.
Mines are new, but the constructions likely drew the attention of nearby creatures. You must clear them out. Ooh. Shroom people! He kind of looks creepy.
Yeah.
Look at that little zug. Hello there, little fella.
Yeah, so they're not too tough. The health bars actually let you know how tough they are. So yellow is a very easy monster. Red is average, and purple is slightly more difficult. And there you go. There's some more, and you'll see again your character switch to the pickaxe automatically while you were mining the ore.
I love that. I love that feature. It kind of bugged me always when I'm playing games like that where I'm going to resource sorting that I've manually always have to switch around. This is way more, let's call it quality of life improvement.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for with that. Originally, you didn't actually even need pickaxes and hatchets. You just chopped your trees down with your weapon, and same with the rocks. But the feedback I got was that's weird. So, but when I put in the pickaxe and the hatchet, I wanted to make sure you didn't have to deal with switching it manually.
This dude definitely has some bad breath.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that.
You said it before, but may you repeat it? What happens when you are getting beaten up by your enemies, by the NPCs? Like when you die,
yeah,
HP hits 0?
So when you die, you basically teleport back to the town. If you have your house, you teleport back to your house. If not, you just teleport to the front of the town. And after the third day, when you die, your town gets a really big mood debuff, and it lasts like an entire in-game day. And that's just because like their champion died, and it like loses a little bit of confidence. But just as long as you keep playing and you don't die again, that debuff goes away over a short period of time. But depending on if your town's already a little on the negative side and that happens, that can like really slow you down. But again, I didn't want death to be like crazy punishing.
Well, you said it is that the efficiency and the speed of, I'm guessing, how they are working is influenced depending on their mode. So there's no, so to say, destructive events happening.
No. Yeah, it's all basically affects you. Like workers will walk slower, and they'll bring less resources, and the craftspeople will make like poor quality items and things like that if their mood is low.
Oh, bottom right it says left monsters.
Yeah, so on the upper there it tells you there aren't any monsters left in the mine, so you can actually press escape. You don't have to run all the way back. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and open up the town menu and reset those two dwarves. They're definitely not doing the right thing. So go ahead and change them to do wood, and let's just see if that clears them out, and then we can change it back to stone. I'll have to figure out why they were doing it. Yeah, okay, that worked. So if you want to change them back to stone, you can change them back to stone, and it should be fine.
Let's have 2 stone, 1 woody.
Yeah, so that should work.
Actually, 1 and 1 has to go into the mine. So you said a mole?
Well, you're going to assign a miner now. So if you look in the upper part of the thing, there's a red assign button next to the miners. Right there, yep. And then you can pick, so the mole is definitely the one you want in the mine, because he'll actually get more resources.
There we go. Love this epical music.
Yep, so you gain another skill point. You can open
skill
up the
was
skill
axe.
with
There
X,
we
yep.
go.
And you're still on the first tree. Honestly, the best one to pick there is the second one, power attack. That just does a really cool special attack based on what weapon you're carrying. So there's 3 different weapons, and so there's 3 different kind of attacks.
Okay.
And you get all 3 when you buy that. So there you go.
Select the special attack. Shield break, confuse,
So, yeah.
or lightning power attack.
So when you use this for now, you're only going to have power attack, which is W when you open up the UI, and then then you'll get more, and then you'll be able to use that radial menu to pick what attack you want to use. You can't actually unlock all the skills. I think there's a total of 54 points that you can spend, but you're capped at around 40. But you can actually place barracks, which has a trainer in it, to unspec your points and then respend them if you want to. That way you're not locked in forever.
Oh, okay, so you can quite quickly switch around on that.
Yeah, so if you just realize that there's a certain skill set that you want instead, you can focus on that once you be able to do that. But you can't unlock everything.
Kind of like the fact that the quest line is kind of introducing and giving you to have to talk to your, civilians, NPCs who are running around. Each and every one of them giving you another task here. Find some fireflies near villas. Okay.
Yeah, so most of the quests start with an NPC. I think it's more interesting to talk to them. There's basically 2 kinds of quests. There's quests that can appear over and over again, like repeatable quests, like a dungeon or a cave that's found. And then there's what I call story quests, and these are little quests that actually unlock different items in your town. And you'll get one of those pretty early on. And so each house has 2 people assigned to it. And there's sort of like a quest that gives you an item on the outside of the house, and another quest that gives you an item in the inside of the house. And so like you can get like an apple tree. And so there's a whole quest where you find an apple, you can build a tree, and then there's actually a tree appears outside that NPC's house. So it allows you to customize the town even more for each house.
There we go. It is so wholesome. I can see myself spending here way too many hours trying to build my dwarven city and make it perfect as I want to, and just watch the little dwarves run around doing their daily jobs.
Yeah, as long as they're not stuck mining invisible rocks, we're good to go.
Well, at least we know the trick now.
Yeah. So that quest is designed to teach you that there's things in the wilderness that you can pick up, and you've already picked up a bunch of beehives and things like that, and those are basically special ingredients that you can use to make different kinds of structures in your town. So the fireflies, you can make lamps in the town with fireflies, and you can make like an apiary to make honey mead or honey beer, and you put the apiaries next to your brewery, and it buffs up the beer production. So there's all kinds of stuff like that scattered out in the wilderness that you can find and bring back to your town.
That's so cute. I just scarily looked at the seas, but I'm happy that we're not going into open seas and any Kraken things happening. Mm-hmm. That's unknown to you, but Chad knows I'm a big feared Viking of large open seas.
Yep.
So, what do you think we should do next? We need definitely some food.
So this dwarf's basically just giving you some ideas of what to do. At this point, you're done with the tutorial, and you can kind of do whatever you want as the quests come in. And what this did for you, it gave you a little lantern on your hip there. So when you're in dungeons and when it's night, it'll automatically turn on and you'll be able to see a little better.
Oh, can you manually turn it off as well?
No, it just turns on and off depending on where you are and what time of day it is.
That is so cool.
So you should get another quest pretty soon, and then the quests start kind of rolling in as you play. And again, there's no like huge pressure. If you have 3 open quests, there's not like a ton of pressure to finish them all right away. So if you want to take some time and build some stuff for the town, you can do that. And then when you get the quest and you're ready to do it, you can do that. So yeah, this is that's your house that you can build as well, and that also unlocks the dog.
That is massive.
Yeah, it's big. It's big because you want to have a lot of space to decorate and place all your trophies and stuff like that. But it's not the biggest building in the game, but it's one of the biggest. I think the tavern is the biggest one.
Oh, there he is, puppy!
Yeah.
Can I pet him?
And of course, you can pet the dog. The animation doesn't always line up, but I'm gonna fix that. That time it actually worked pretty good. So yeah, I need to move her closer to you when you pet her.
I always say when you can pet the dog or the animal in the game, that's like already a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
That works.
So once she's finished building your house, you'll be able to go inside. It's a 2-story house, and you can also change the exterior facade, like the brickwork, and you can change it to different materials once you have like carpenters and stonemasons. So you can customize the outside of the house and the inside of the house.
And the customization parts are going only for our personal building. The other ones
Yeah,
are...
you can upgrade the NPC houses from wood to stone and then stone to marble. And those give them more benefits for having the better buildings. With your building, you can upgrade it to whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's just a visual change for whatever you think you want.
We even have a terrace out there.
Yeah, that way you can kind of get a view of the town from your home.
Yeah, I think I have to replace this and put it somewhere where I'm watching over most of the parts.
And you can see the lights just turn on in the town, and your lantern is now on too, since it's getting dark.
That's so cute. Is there a way to like press a button to hide away all the HUDs and whatnot?
The UI?
Like, yeah.
You know what? I think there is a hotkey for that, but I made it so long ago I don't even remember what it is. I'd have to look it up. But I think I added that a long time ago. But you can turn off the UI and turn it back on. I'd have to check.
So a quick look.
No, it was just a key command. I don't think there's actually a hotkey for it.
Okay.
It's like one of those Control Shift something or other that I added, and I just haven't made it official yet.
So what would you suggest should we do next year? Speed reader and the worker?
Well, let's do this quest. That'll give us quests are the main way you get gold in the game.
Okay.
And so you always need gold to build buildings. So that's why the quest connect to your town, because it gives you the gold that you need to make buildings.
So let's have a look what she's saying. Something's been making noise in my house. Can't sleep. There was an indirect invitation to come home at my place.
Mm-hmm. And this quest really, it sends you to the NPC's home just so you can go inside and see that, again, they have interiors.
Oh!
You'll see the sort of, the furniture there. When you place a carpenter, he'll actually build furniture automatically and furnish all the houses in the town. And if your town is furnished, you get mood buffs. So when an NPC's house is all done, they get a mood buff for having a nice house.
That's amazing. Iliavi asked if there's a way to rest and like heal up, because I see that the health bar is like where it is.
Yep. So first of all, you have heal potions in your bar up top. That's one way. You can also place a bed in your house, and you can sleep in the bed, and it heals you up super fast.
So let's talk to the spirit. Don't hurt me. I mean no harm. I'm sorry for disturbing the residents of this home, but my spirit is trapped in this world and by the undead near the ruins. Oh, a charming spirit, I see. Man, this is... I've not expected such a lovely and wholesome game. Even the music is very, very cherish, very giving you just a good vibe. And I can imagine to hop in here an hour, 2 hours a day just to continue building on my city, see it evolve. And
yeah, like the music is great. It was we had a composer, Alex Ruger, who did most of the work on that, and it's just he did a great job. And what we were going for was just adventure. Like that was the word that we used to kind of define the music. As opposed to like grimdark or something like that. So the music is generally pretty upbeat, happy, but still has a little bit of an adventurous tone to it. But yeah, he did it. I love the music that he made for this game. It's great.
Oh, hello there. Is it missing a boots? I would be angry as well if I would miss my boots. How is the special move working again? The power
it's
attack?
R. When you're near him, you can press R. And that'll slow down time and let you choose. You have to wait for that gem up top to replenish, because the gem is your special attack timer. So you used kick. So when you attack with your normal attacks, the gem fills up faster. So if you hit him a couple times with the axe, it should come back pretty quick. There you go. It's back now. So there you go. And then you can slow it. It's a multi choice. So yeah. So that attack, if there were more than one enemy, would have hit all the enemies in your in range, and it does like a bunch of extra damage to them.
I kind of like the choice of design that it is pausing. For a second.
It slows down the game to like 10% speed, because eventually you get more than one choice, and so you just want to have time to pick that.
Find the undead in the ruins and destroy them to set the restless spirits free.
But yeah, so the axe does that big multi-attack and also can stun the enemies. The hammer, you jump in the air and smash down with it, and it can knock the enemies backwards. So if there's like 3 goblins on you, you can jump up and knock them all back away from you. And then the sword, it attacks one enemy, but for a whole bunch of damage. And you can switch between those weapons depending on which one you like. They're all at the core, they're the same, but they all have different special attacks.
Ilyavi asks if there's any sort of mounts. Don't think for a small island that you need.
Yeah, I didn't want to try and mess with mounted combat, so I haven't added mounts to the game. That's why I added the speed buff, so it kind of does the same. Gives you sort of the same thing where you can go faster. But yeah, I don't want to deal with trying to figure out how to do mounted combat with this game. That would be difficult. I mean, I could always make you jump off the mount when you attack too. But the island is small enough that you really don't need a mount.
Yeah, I don't think it would make any sense, especially since we walked up here, 5 minutes, not even like that,
and that's like half the way to the end of the island. So this quest here, the destroy dungeon. Dungeons are the best way to get gold in the game, because there's crates in them that you can smash in addition to the loot that you get from the monsters. But you'll notice, like, you finished while you were working on the quest for the ghost, you got this quest also. But it's not like if you ignore this quest for a while because you want to do something else, it's not going to like hurt you or damage the town or anything like that.
This reminds me a little bit of what was it, what we played recently, Valheim. The entrance to the dungeon. Dungeon terror seems ancient. You can hear the creatures moving about. Be on your guard. Smack.
And again, you switch to your hatchet when you smash the crates, and you switch automatically back to your axe when you attack.
I like it. So any plans for HammerHelm? Is there anything that you will try or want to include? Or do you see the project as it is, done, finished, and you're happy with it?
I don't know that I'll ever call it finished. There's definitely some stuff that I want to add, but I'm not really ready to talk about it yet because it's some stuff I want to experiment with before I really kind of commit to it. Right now, I'm focusing on adding some more quests and quality of life stuff and bug fixing. Like those are my sort of 3 big things. And the quality of life stuff is mostly just ideas and suggestions from the community for how to make the game. So now I can use the axe attack. It'll damage both of those guys and do a bunch of damage to them.
And stun them.
And it stunned both of them.
Beautiful. Oh, this feels so satisfying. Also love this little charming lantern, as you said. It will turn on and give you a little bit of light. I would even dare to make it grimmer and darker, so that lantern a cone kind of makes it a little bit spookier and creepier.
Yeah, the lighting in your screen looks really good, and this is how it looks on mine, but I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that the game looks really dark on their screens, so it's different depending on your monitor. So that's actually why I added the lantern, was because it's sort of like even if your screen is darker than mine, the lantern will let you see pretty easily. But yeah, the lighting looks really good on your screen there, so that's good. But people have sent me like a screenshot and the dungeon's like way darker, and so I'm working on a brightness slider to make that so you can manually set it yourself eventually.
And here comes the point that Chad actually asks if there's a way to get in touch with you, give you feedback, give you suggestions and whatnot.
Yep.
Is there
there's a
Discord
for Sodesco, my publisher, and then on that Discord, they have all the games that they publish. So HammerHelm's there. You can also use the Steam forums. I'm super active on the Steam forums. I try to reply to every post just let people know that I read it and give them some feedback on whatever it is they are asking me about. But yeah, I started out in the game industry as a community manager, so I'm a big believer in making sure the community is involved. And to me, that's half the fun of having a video game, is getting feedback from people that are playing it. So I try to do that as much as I can.
I agree. App of the dodge rolling is it feels so satisfying.
Yeah.
The animation is so smooth on it. Oh.
Yeah, you can actually interrupt your own attacks by blocking or dodge rolling also, so you're not committed to it. So if you start an attack and the enemy is about to attack you, you can roll out of the way right away. But you won't get the attack, but you can roll out of the way and escape the damage.
That's great.
So you should have quite a bit of gold now to start crafting some more stuff for your town.
Definitely. Let's head back. In the meantime, while we're heading back, maybe drop a link towards the Discord in the chat.
I can post that. Here, let me grab that quick.
So, Chad, whenever you got a bad time and feel down and need some warming up and heartwarming vibes and music and charming looks, and I have to agree, Liavi, the sky actually looks also really good.
Yeah.
I asked you that in private. Do you think that you will also try out to activate the mod possibility for the game?
Something I'm looking into. Similar to multiplayer, it's the kind of thing where you should build from the start to really make it work right. But there's a couple of plugins that I'm going to investigate that may or may not allow me to unlock mods and make the game moddable. When I first started working on the game, I wasn't even planning on making a game at all. I was just trying out stuff and testing stuff and just having fun with it. And so there's a lot of stuff that, like, if I were to start over, there's a lot of stuff I would do differently with HammerHelm than just because I learned a lot from building it. So yeah, mod support, I would say slightly more likely than multiplayer, but it's not something I can really commit to until I investigate it and see how challenging it'll be to add it.
There you heard it, Chad. Okay, let's place it over here. And I guess again with the hunter's hut, as soon as you build it, you have to assign them.
You can assign a hunter, yeah.
Somebody. Okay. And
you get experience points for completing quests and also for building structures. So every time you build a house or a structure, you get a little bit of XP also.
Reduces the amount of stamina used when rolling. Okay, so you can like build out your tree if you're like more of the dodge roller, if you're more of the blocker.
Right. So most of the skills have 3 tiers that you can upgrade, and that'll either make them do more damage, or like you take less damage, or in that case you took the run speed. There's 2 more that'll make you a little more faster, so you can upgrade that more than once also.
Ilya,
I definitely. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to answer. If I were to ever make a sequel to HammerHelm, I would definitely do things differently and add some things that I wanted to add that I really can't now, just because of the way the game was built. But I'm not really thinking about that yet. I kind of want to get this game to really where I want it to be. And again, most of it's just, I play the game a certain way because I know the game, and players play it very differently, and so their feedback it's always surprising to me because I'm like, wait, why would you do that? And then they explain why, and okay, I'll add that because it makes sense to me now. But I know that I play the game very differently than most people will, because I know all the nuts and bolts of it.
So charming. Here's an idea. What I would do is maybe give them an idle work thing that he's like walking around, actually working on the anvil, doing something.
Yeah. Right now, there's no. The workers, when they're done getting resources, they'll sort of wander around the town just to kind of make the town feel a little more alive. But yeah, the crafters don't do their animations yet. That's on my list. I've got to get to that at some point. So when you assign this hunter, you're only going to have 1 worker left. So you're probably going to want to place a house next to get a couple more dwarves.
That definitely, but I'm very peculiar here. She's an animal lover and goes out.
Yeah,
to
so
hunt.
you can make her a hunter, but she'll get a negative mood buff, so she'll be unhappy about it. Or
Okay.
you can wait and place a house and get someone who's more inclined to do hunting.
Yeah, I think that sounds better.
Yeah.
Let's see what we need for
Somebody was
one
asking
house.
about roads. Once you build a stonemason, you can just paint roads wherever you want. There's actually a red button right now on the right side of the screen. So yeah, you can draw the roads. You don't have to place the buildings to make the roads. They will place a road in front of them, but you can also get rid of that if you don't like it. So you can also delete roads, but you have to have a stonemason in order to do that. If you click on all those toggles in the bottom there, right under your cursor, the water, that'll turn on the overlays, and so you'll need like wells and sewers and things like that to get those houses to have water and clean and add beauty to the town. So if you scroll down all the way to the bottom of the craft list, you don't have to place it, but we can just see how it works all the way. There's a lot. There's a little thing called a town tree, so go ahead and build a town tree.
The town tree.
And if you move it around, you'll see how the little flowers light up. That means that those houses, if you place that, those houses will now have beauty, and it gives a mood buff to the dwarves that live in those houses. You can hit escape if you don't actually want to place it though.
So good.
Okay. So now that those houses have beauty, and so if you actually go back into your town manager, you close this and press V. If you mouse over the dwarves, it'll tell you what their moods are, and when you find the two that have that house, they'll have a positive
nice
mood
house
buff because they think the town is pretty.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there's cleanliness, beauty, warmth, and water, and those are the three big mood buffs that you want to have in your town.
So charming. Love it. I freaking enjoy this so much, and I'm very thankful, John, that you're able to have time to talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for showing the game. It's awesome to. It's awesome and it's stressful to watch someone play because I keep waiting for some weird bug or something to happen. So just a little bit of anxiety, but it's fun, and I'm really glad that you're enjoying the game.
It's all good. It's all good. It's perfect. Iliavi has an interesting question. I remember from back in the days, Caesar 3, a strategy game. Do the houses like improve visually when you have all their pods?
They improve. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I don't mean to do that.
All good. All good.
The houses are 2 per house, and they don't change size. But when you get a stonemason, you can upgrade them to a stone house, or you can just start placing stone houses, and that gives them a better mood buff. It also, the stonemason will create fireplaces with chimneys, and so when they have that, they'll then have warmth. And if you have a stone house with a chimney, it'll use a little less warmth, so it uses less coal, so it's more efficient. And then I'm not going to give too much away, but there's a quest in the game that unlocks marble, and when you use marble, you can upgrade the houses one more time to be marble houses, and they're nice and pretty, and then they get a bigger mood buff from that. But the houses are always use the same footprint.
Okay, let's check out what this Earth Elemental wants and does.
Yeah, and he's actually one of the main. In fact, you have both quests now for the 2 main NPC characters, so that's cool. And then, unfortunately, I am going to need to get going probably in about 10 minutes. I've got to start my other job.
Totally fine, John. Chat, this is your chance. If you have any last Q&A questions towards him, about the game, about development, anything that tickles your interest. And I would also say, if you want to, just pick one randomly out of the chat who shall get a copy of...
I don't want to show favorites. Don't make me do that.
Okay, let's make a bot do that and randomly pick.
Yeah, we'll just make it random. So I have 3 keys that we're going to give away today for the game.
There, you heard it, Chad. Okay, Grumble.
Yeah, so that did a lot of damage.
There we go. Oh, wait, a golem with a beard?
He's an earth elemental.
A loader?
With a beard and a copper helmet.
Speak with Grumble. Are you here to help? Who are you?
Grumble is my name, although I don't know if it's always been that case. I saw your town, but did not want to enter for fear of being attacked.
Oh, is it friendly?
Yeah, he's one of the NPC characters in the game.
Okay, how did you get here?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think I used to be a dwarf like you, but my memory isn't what I used to be. I remember pride flesh and a cave-in, but little more than that.
I can help you.
Ratmen entered my cave yesterday and I can't get them to leave. If you help me clear them, then I'll give you some special rocks.
I like his R heavy.
So that's how he talks. All his R's roll.
Okay, he wants us to clear that thing.
Yeah.
Then
so
I
won't
would
give
say
away any spoilers, but he's one of the main NPCs that's sort of tied to the big story in the game. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there are Earth elementals that are enemies. He's just a special one. And I don't know if I can show this or not, but I actually I 3D printed Grumble a while back and painted him, so I have my own little Grumble figurine. Let me get that in front of the camera. There we go. So yeah.
Also
So he
bonus
sits on my
points.
desk. He keeps me company.
Also bonus points for the chat that you definitely need to show them is the orc from Warhammer 40k that I saw when I was talking to
Oh,
you.
the yeah. Hold on, I'll get that. So this is something I 3D printed, and I showed this when we were talking privately. But it's an orc X-wing, the orc's wing, and so it's an X-wing built by orcs, and so works as like a DACA jet if for anyone that plays 40k. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to put together. It took like a week and a half to print because I printed it really slow.
That's amazing. Chad is
Those are, like,
actually
two
really
of my
Warhammer
favorite.
fans. And
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
so that's why
But
that's
yeah.
what I said. I kind of like the idea that you like combine Star Wars with Warhammer and two of your universe that you like. Good then, John. Since you said that you are on a rush, I kindly thank you for taking your time and showing us the game and explaining stuff behind the scenes and give the audience the chance to have a talk behind the brain of the game. And we'll definitely keep on playing here a little bit on our side and see what the quests are about. And probably we'll definitely do a proper playthrough from start to end and see how the main story evolves. And yeah, I kindly say thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for showing the game and having me on. This was a lot of fun. I wish I could stay longer, but I do have to get to the day job.
It's all good.
But yeah, if anybody has questions, look me up on Discord, look me up on the Steam forums. I'm more than happy to help out. And if you play the game and you have suggestions, I'm always loving hearing the feedbacks too. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Have a wonderful, wonderful day at work, and I hope to hear you soon.